And what do you do, sir?
Economic development for the city.
Well, you're doing a good job in some parts. Some parts you're lacking right now. So you're doing good and not good. You're like getting an A in math but a C in science. What, you trying to get more trees in Southeast or something? Some more bushes?
I live in Southeast.
You live in South? Well, Southeast gentrified now. It ain't like when I was here, you didn't fuck around with Southeast. Now they got a baseball stadium. Motherfuckers are walking their Yorkies and shit. Oh, Southeast is different. Wonder what happened to all the guys I was playing basketball with. Fuck that guy. Them motherfuckers in Baltimore now. So what's the goal? When can you quit? Like, fuck it, my job is done. The city is perfect. It's a never-ending job, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it was a good job. You're like, man, this is some job security in D.C. Economic development, we're gonna be here for a minute. Every time you see like graffiti on the window, be like, you coming home, baby. We got another 6 months on the job. What's like the proudest thing you've done? Like, what's the best thing you've done? What building have you built, or what job you transformed? I don't know.
Lately, the Washington Commanders.
You did that? You did that? You brought in Jaden Daniels? Or you just changed the name? We don't give a fuck about the name. You brought in Jaden Daniels.
The stadium is coming here.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, because that stadium's garbage. That Commander Stadium's terrible. Terrible. Charles Barkley, terrible. The turf is terrible. It's hard to get in and out of that motherfucker. God. You gotta have your day free getting out of a Commanders game. The game's 1 o'clock. You better leave at 6 a.m. to get to that motherfucker by kickoff. So it's getting built where RFK used to be?
Yes, they tearing it down right now.
Yeah, it's good, man. And that was you?
That was the mayor.
The mayor?
The mayor.
So who are you? You that motherfucker on the wire. Shit. I need you, man. I'm trying to get the stadium out of Landover. I gotta get it back in the city. I can do it. What can you do for me, man? You see, I got cargo pants on and they're empty. Shit. It's a dirty job you got there, man. What year is it coming? What year?
2030, the stadium.
Holy fuck! You gotta get some Mexicans to build that motherfucker. That shit'll be up by game 3. You gotta work on some legislative laws. No, we gotta make sure everybody's certified. Mexicans like, hey, fuck that, we got it ready. Hey, water in the grass, it'll be ready by Sunday. Just a thought, motherfucker. I want to tell them stop deporting all these motherfuckers. We need a stadium built. That's funny. You're smiling, but you're looking at your wife like, can we get it done? Can we do it, or what are we thinking right now? I mean, funny. Just don't tell nobody. Tell everybody 2030. You know, 2026. Bitch is just done. That's what happened in my last house. We had a white crew and a Mexican crew that was building my house. Motherfucker, you knew when the Mexicans was there. That shit was framed up, piping. carpet, fans. Every time the white guys come in, because they had to play by the rules. Them motherfuckers like slow as fuck. They're just sitting on the roof. They'd see me driving up. Oh shit. I'd be like, I saw you motherfuckers. I'm trying to move in by the end of the month. They were the best, man. Anytime I move, man, I don't hire movers. I got a bunch of fucking Mexicans, man, moving my shit. They're the best. Yep. You just pay them cash, and then you let them keep all the shit you don't want to take. Them motherfuckers take everything. I gave a motherfucker a VCR. He acted like it was still working. Gracias. Gracias, señor. Gracias. No, thank you.
So what happens, he has he's actually Gary Owen.
You got 4?
And keep in mind, he's under 18. And I don't know if you know this, but Gary and his family is actually moving out there to the Bay Area, folks. That's all I know right now for my man, Austin Owens, guys.
Way to go, Austin! This way, Austin. You're good, go ahead.
Hello, Tommy T's. This is my first time doing stand-up, so even if I'm not funny, please laugh at my jokes. Currently, I'm a 17. I currently live in the state of Ohio, but we're moving out here this summer. I'm gonna be going to the high school called Heritage. I heard a lot of good things about it, so better not disappoint me. And congrats on the Warriors for winning 3 of the last 4 games. Holy shit! There's so many of you in here. Also, you guys don't have to stress about me cussing. My mom is not here right now. I'm saying whatever. Also, I don't know what I want to do after school. I kind of want to sit home and do nothing and play video games. So, if there's any sugar mamas or cougars out there, I'm all yours. I see you guys like the mix and madness on the stage right now. And growing up mix was pretty fun because I could say the N-word to my dad and he couldn't say that. Also, when I was growing up and I used to get disciplined, spankings, whoopings, whatever you want to call them. Whenever my dad would do it just felt weird. It felt like he was channeling like his ancestors. I mean, when he was spanking me, I'd be sad, but if I look back, he had like a half smile on his face. I have a flight to catch in a few minutes, so I'm going to tell my last joke. It's pretty racist. So it doesn't really matter because I'm half black. Why does Beyonce always say to the left, to the left? Black people don't have any rights.
Hey, y'all, you listen to the Gary Owen podcast. Hashtag Get Some. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. You can listen to this on iTunes. Just search Gary Owen, hashtag Get Some, or you can watch it on YouTube. My YouTube page is youtube.com/GaryOwenCom. Recording this from Timeless Recording Studios in Cincinnati, Ohio. You can follow them at TimelessRStudio. A few things I want to talk about today. Just got done eating lunch. I got this spot in Cincinnati, man. And when I tell you, when I see people that say they don't have a job, when I see people that be like, there's no work out there and they can't, and they asking people for money instead of getting their own money. There's this place I go to in Cincinnati, just called the Taco Shop. It's literally a trailer next to a car wash. And it's this Mexican dude, man. Authentic Mexican, too. You don't get that a lot in the Midwest like this. Like his tamales, his tacos. There's no cheese and nothing like that. No extra stuff. It's just straight, authentic Mexican food. But he's got this trailer, and then he, like, framed out this tent that sits in front of the trailer. And I never seen nothing like it. Like, you just drive by it, you think it's like one of them food trucks almost. But it's the best tacos in Cincinnati. And I every time I go there, I post it on my Instagram, my Facebook, and my Twitter. And I got talking to the guy that started this taco shop, and he was just like, yeah, everybody said my tamales was good and my tacos was good, so I just did it on my own. And I'm just like, and he found a spot next to a car wash. Like, I don't know. When I see guys like that, I'm just like, okay, where there's a will, there's a way. Anyways, best tacos in Cincinnati. I just want to give him a shout out, even though I didn't really give him a shout out, but it's called the Taco Shop. Oh, so good. They don't even want to charge you when I go there. Like, no, you always pump us. You're good. I'm like, man, I wish every restaurant I could just say good things about and I get free food, because I'd be talking about steakhouses all day. Right now is a slow time to be a sports fan. Because, training camp just started with football, basketball. There's some signings going on, but all the big signings have already happened. Baseball, it's getting to that point in baseball where you kind of know who's going to make the playoffs. There's a few races left, but not a lot. There'll be a UFC fight every now and then and some boxing matches. But right now is a really slow time to be a sports fan because the preseason games don't start till next week. I think the big thing this week is the Hall of Fame. The induction is going to happen this week. Over under, I think Ray Lewis is going to talk for an hour. I bet you they better put him last when these speeches come out, because he's going to go. I think Randy Moss's speech is going to be the most entertaining. Ray, you're going to have a lot of Jesus and a lot of church, and it can get lost in his story, because he does have a crazy story. His upbringing and everything else, and everybody knows about the thing that happened in Atlanta years ago. But I think Ray's going to be Jesus heavy, and Tara Owens isn't even going to be there, which I think is just I don't understand that at all. Regardless if you're mad that you weren't a first ballot Hall of Famer, he's been eligible for 3 years. It's still, once you're in, and it's not the guys that are in the Hall of Fame. It's not their fault that you weren't a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's writers and guys you might have burned. I think that for Tara Owens not to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, it's clear the writers were sending a message like, you treated us like shit, and now this is our way of getting back to you. But once you're in, it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. It's basically you have a new team, and you got these new teammates that you're in the Hall of Fame with. So I think he's making a mistake by not being there for that, because Terrell Owens would give an entertaining speech, and when he got voted in initially, I was most looking forward to his speech over everybody's, because I thought it could be a way for him to heal some of these wounds that he's got. but he's not even going to be there. I was like, so it kind of sucks. I think Urlacher's would be all right. You know, I don't know a lot about Brian Urlacher, like his personality. It reminds me a lot of like when Troy Aikman got inducted in the Hall of Fame. You know, Troy was you know, crying and everything else, and I never saw that side of him when he played. So I'm anxious to see what Urlacher's speech is going to be like. And then there, you know, Brian Dawkins will be good, and a couple other guys. But yeah, Ray's gonna be Jesus heavy, but I think Randy Moss is gonna be the most entertaining. That's like the big news for this week. And then next week is when preseason football starts, and then it'll get exciting. But right now, it's kind of a slow time to be a sports fan. I think the biggest news this week was a few things. One, Jay-Z and Beyonce started their OTR2 tour, and then ex-president Obama and Michelle was at the concert. They was wilding too. They was in a suite, like just wilding. I was just like, I don't think I've ever seen a president show up at a rap concert and just start wilding. Ex-president. I mean, could you see Jimmy Carter just showing up at a rap concert, or George Bush? I mean, you know, Clinton had a little soul to him, because that's what solidified when Clinton. I can see Clinton at a rap concert, because I remember when he first was running back in '92, he got on Arsenio and he played the saxophone, and that pretty much solidified the black vote for Clinton right there. When he was playing the sax, I was like, oh, because that did twofold. That like made Arsenio mainstream. Arsenio was already killing it, but it really blew Arsenio up. And then, you know, Clinton, he pretty much solidified the black vote when he played the saxophone on Arsenio's show. But outside of that, a couple things happened. Here's the thing. There's celebrities, and then there's talented celebrities, and then there's internet celebrities. And there's this guy Boont Gang out there. I never understood what his goal was. Cause and a lot of people, if you don't know who he is, he's a internet quote unquote celebrity. And what he does is just does wild shit. Like he'll go to like I saw him, like he reached 1 million followers on Instagram, and he went to a Chick-fil-A, stood on the counter, grabbed a bunch of milkshakes, and started throwing them all over himself. And then he like slid down the line where people order at Chick-fil-A. He like put the milkshake all over it and then just slid in it, because he got 1 million followers. That's not how I'm going to celebrate, because I should be at 1 million followers on Instagram next week, but I guarantee you ain't gonna see me do that shit. But then he'll like do something, like he was in New York City and he just like jumped in this guy's, you got those street vendors that sell like purses or watches and stuff. Usually they're knockoff. He just jumped in the guy's stand and knocked it over, and then he took off running. And he's got an MO for doing just wild shit like that. It's not really like a talent. It's just like, let me just do wild shit and see if people will follow me. And that's the thing about celebrity, man. It can be so intoxicating at times. You don't know really what you are or who you are anymore. Because every time I see this guy Boont Gang, he's got another tattoo on his face. And then I'm like, when does he have time to get all these tattoos? Tattoos fucking hurt, man. And I got one on my back and it's really small. Man, I thought I was going to die. I thought the dude shot me. I will never get another tattoo. That shit hurt. I always say it was on my shoulder blade. That's why it hurts so bad. It's right on my right shoulder, man. And it's small. Thing's about that big. It's small. It's tiny, 4 tiny letters. Probably took about 35, 40 minutes. Man, never again. That shit hurt. But to get it on your face, and then so what I'm getting at is Boont Gang guy, he shot himself twice. And then he's live streaming it on his Instagram Live, his Facebook Live, whatever it was. He's live streaming, like him in the car. You see the blood. He shot himself in his leg. I don't know where the other shot was. I just saw the one bullet wound. And then he's got pictures of him in the hospital, recovering. Then the next day, got a picture of him getting out of the hospital. It's like, I'll be all right. People get shot every day. And I'm just sitting here thinking, who's his circle and what's going on? He's clearly on numerous drugs. I don't know which one, because he was doing an interview I don't know if it was a radio or a podcast interview. He couldn't even get up. He was like staggering. And then his quote unquote friends, handlers, they're just kind of laughing with him. And then they got to hold him up. He's trying to take a picture with the guy he did the interview with. He can't even do that. And it's a train wreck. It's one of those things like you're just not going to be shocked when something happens and he passes away. Like you're just not. And like I always say, man, like when XX Tentacion died, and I said, I guarantee you, whoever did this to him is under 25 years old. And sure enough, they caught all four. Well, they caught 3 guys. One guy's still on the run, but they know who all 4 guys are. They're all in their early 20s, all of them. And same thing. This Boot Gang's young guy, and I'm saying you just got to get to 25, man. 25 years old, everything starts to make sense. And the same reason military, they don't go recruiting 30, 35-year-old men. They go recruiting young guys out of high school. And I think with this Boot Gang, I think he's so caught up in checking his Instagram and how many followers. And I do it. I mean, I do it, but it's not, I don't do it thinking I'm less funny or, oh, this is going to really help me with this, and this. You just look. You're just curious. Did I get any new followers? You know, when I do videos, I'm always curious to see how many views it gets, because it's almost like when a movie comes out, you check the numbers on the movie, and that's why they make you the #1 movie in America, because more people saw it and you made the most money. But I think with Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, you got a lot of people out there now that they just want likes, they just want views, and I hate to quote historical figure, but it's almost like by any means necessary right now is what they'll do. I mean, this guy, Boom Gang, he's already live streamed himself having sex. Like he basically was banging this chick from the back. And he says, you know what? Instead of enjoying this sexual experience, I'm going to put my phone out and film myself doing it. That means sex to him is less important than views. That right there is an issue. Then he shoots himself, and what's he do? He starts live streaming from the car. You know, because I think the drugs got his mind fucked up, and the people around him is fucked up. I think everything about him right now is just fucked up. You know, he's like a guy like. I don't know what he's like in person, and if I ever met him, I don't know. I don't know what I do, but he's like a guy right now I don't want to be around at all. Like, he comes around like, I'll leave the room. I don't want no part of that. Because I do see him sometimes, he'll get on stage with some rappers. And I don't know if I guess he raps, because I guess he says he raps. I never heard any of his songs, but I see him at rap concert and he'll get on stage, you know? And the first he says is, you know, you motherfuckers ain't ready for Boo Gang? You want to see Boo Gang? And then let's like jump into the audience and make sure it's getting taped. So I know with being a celebrity, it can be very intoxicating. Because I remember when I first got on TV and stuff, and you get stopped the first couple times. You're like, what? Like, I remember the first time I got on TV, it was BT's Comic View. I aired, and I'll never forget, I'm walking to the grocery store the day after it aired. It was a Ralph's in North Hollywood. And this young kid just stopped me. Hey, man, was you on Comic View last night? And I was like, yeah. I'm sitting there getting like cereal. And I was like, oh shit. Like, I remember my brain was like, oh shit, somebody saw it. And then I got stopped the second time, was like the day after that, I'm at the St. Louis airport, and I'll never forget, this girl and her friends walked up to ask for a picture. And I went, oh wow. And it becomes very, I don't know. It is a drug. Celebrity is a drug. And attention is a drug. I don't know. It does something to your brain where you want it more. You want it again. And I think with the internet, it's a blessing and a curse to a lot of people, because it's helped people. Like, let's look at someone like DC Youngfly, who was basically an internet guy, but he's been in a few movies now. He's on the road as a stand-up, and I've gotten to know him, and he's in it for the right reasons. Like, he didn't let his upbringing or his environment dictate how he was going to be successful. Some people, no matter what situations you put them in, they're going to make their way out. Something about their spirit, just their inner drive, they'll make it. And I think DC Young Fly is a guy, if you look at him and pattern his growth as just an entertainer, he's doing it the right way. He's surrounded himself with the right people. You know, he's from Atlanta. He made sure he's in with T.I. He's in good with T.I. And, you know, I've worked with him on hip hop squares, and I've run into him at the airports, and we had shows here in Oklahoma City. You know, he's just, whatever he's doing on the internet side, he started off with the fuck you mean. That was like his thing. And he'd go after celebrities, deservedly so. It, like, if you wore something ridiculous, he'd talk about you. If you did something ridiculous, he'd talk about you. But then some celebrities got upset, but most of them realized, oh, this is just a young kid having fun, goofing off, and he's got a lot of followers. So he was generating traffic to other celebrities. And so, but now to see where he's at in life, that's the route you want to take. The direction Boot Gang's going is cemetery. And I don't know anybody that would really want to work with them. When you're talking about directors and producers and people in Hollywood, I don't know who would want to work with the guy, because I'm like, I don't want to be on set with that dude. You don't know what he's gonna do. Even when I had my reality show, I called up a couple movie producers and asked them that I know. I said, "Yo, if I do this reality show, is it gonna cost me work as far as acting jobs?" And they all said, "Nah, as long as you don't come across as an asshole, people aren't going to be like, I don't want to work with him." They said, "But you're not an asshole, Gary." But if I went on TV and came across as like hard to work with and difficult, you know, I don't know if then they was like, that might hurt you, but that's not what's going to happen. So now you're looking at this Boot Gang guy. I'm like, I don't know who would want to work with him. He's pretty much, once you film yourself fucking and then you shoot yourself and you live stream that, I don't think anything's off limits with the guy. So, and especially he's made a name for himself, like just basically destroying other people's personal property and business. And I'm sure a lot of it's staged. I'm sure a lot of it is. I'm sure when he goes into restaurants and things like that, I'm sure they do that shit ahead of time. But shooting yourself in the sex tape, I think that's the drugs right now. I don't think he's in the right frame of mind, and the people around him aren't helping his situation at all. So if anybody needs to just take their phone away and get off social media for a month, is that dude. Just get away from it and just go somewhere away from everybody. And it's like when you go into rehab, and I've never done drugs, but I've had, my brothers, one brother passed away of a heroin overdose, and my other brother's in prison right now for using and dealing drugs. It's like, the first thing they tell you when you go to the rehab is when you get out, you have to change people, places, and things around you. So you can't go back to the same area. You can't hang out with the same people, because you're going to end up doing the same things. And with Boot Gang, he needs to get rid of everybody in his circle right now. Everybody. Because, I think, and I see it in the black community more than anywhere else, is, I hear you forgot where you came from, or, you can't let go of the friends that were with you in the beginning. Yeah, you can. You can forget where you came from, and you can outgrow friends. It doesn't mean you're enemies. There's people that I'm around that I grew up with that I just outgrew. Friends that I had 10 years ago, we do different things now. And it doesn't mean you're better than them. It's just you went a different direction. And I think, and like I said, I see it more in the black community than anywhere else, where, black athletes, black celebrities, when they come up and they make it, quote unquote, make it, they tend to try to I see black entertainers and athletes do it more so than any other culture or race. They tend to want to like bring those guys with them that when they had nothing, to stay with them. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. LeBron James, it worked, but here's the thing. LeBron James had a good infrastructure coming up. Like he was around the right group of guys, the right friends. He hung, like his best friend was the coach's son. and he just surround himself with the right people. Whereas Boot Gang has clearly surrounded himself with the wrong people, And I remember Allen Iverson. There was big things about Allen Iverson when he first came in the league. He was bringing all those guys from Virginia that he grew up with, and there's a trust factor there. You got guys that were, when you're in lower income areas, and I can speak from a guy that was raised in a trailer park, and with black people be the projects. You need your neighbors. You need them. Like you need your neighborhoods. When you live in gated communities and big houses, and the houses are separated by big ass yards and land. I don't even know my neighbors right now. I mean, I know them, but I don't have dinner with them. I don't borrow sugar. I don't knock on their door. I just don't see them. And, when I grew up in a trailer park though, you're right next to your neighbor. You're on top of each other. You see them every day. When there was one instance where I hear this argument in the trailer right next door to mine. All of a sudden I see the girlfriend come jumping out the back door, flying, like almost like a witch. Woo! There was an argument, motherfucker, and then she just jumped out and started running. I'm sitting here like 10 years old, like, what the fuck was that? I wouldn't be able to hear my neighbors right now if they argued at all. But see, that's the difference when you're from a lower income area, white or black. White, I would say trailer park. Black, I would say projects. I was like, you need your neighbors. You need them because that lady ran out of the back of the trailer, went to another trailer, another friend she had in the trailer park. I ran away from home one time. I went a few times, but one time I ran to another guy's trailer that I knew. I was like, can I come over here? I had to make a phone call. This was before cell phones. I'm showing my age. But I knew my neighbors. I knew them. Now I don't. So I think with this Boot Gang, god damn, man. I hate seeing people just self-destruct and we just watch it and let it happen. We're just sitting there watching it. And it's just a matter of time. If, the direction his life's going right now, it's not if, it's when. He's gonna overdose. He's gonna do something so stupid for likes and follows and views. He's gonna hurt. He's already hurt himself. Jesus Christ, he shot himself. Really close to his dick, by the way. I mean, if I'm gonna shoot myself, I'm not gonna do it by my dick. I mean, that's too close. I might do an arm if I'm gonna shoot myself. Like, do it right here in the shoulder, like you see in the dirty cops that do it, and then they. And in the movies, they'll set a crime scene up and we gotta act like this dude shot us, and they'll shoot each other in the arm. Nobody gets shot in the dick. Nobody. I thought he shot his dick off when I first saw it. I go, oh shit, somebody shot his dick off. And then come to find out it was right by it, right up here. I mean, I just don't like seeing it.
This episode of the Get Some podcast is brought to you by Haven Life. Haven Life Insurance Agency is changing the way you buy life insurance so that it's actually simple. They offer term life coverage issued by Massachusetts Mutual Life Insurance Company that you can apply for online anytime, anywhere, and from any device. If you have people who depend on you, Haven Life is an easy, convenient, and affordable way to help financially protect them. For example, a 35-year-old man in excellent health could get a $500,000 20-year Haven term policy for around $21 a month. If you're looking for peace of mind and a simple way to check term life insurance off your to-do list, visit welcome.havenlife.com/GOGS. That's welcome.havenlife.com/GOGS. I'm going to get some right now.
And so then you got Boot Gang. He's headed down a bad road. And then Demi Lovato overdoses. At first he said heroin, and now they're saying they're not sure what it is. It could be meth. I don't know. But I mean, she's had substance problems for a long time. And I think when you're in the entertainment business, so, and even this Boot Gang is in the entertainment business. It's just the internet entertainment business. I think it's hard for me to put into words. Like with drug overdoses and like Boot Gang, I think most of his problems is drug induced. It's entertainment is a it is I don't know. You do. They always say you got to do a deal with the devil to be in the entertainment business, and that's not true. But it's a cold business, and you got to be thick. You got to have some thick skin to be in it. And if you're not, if you're not ready to be talked about, if you're not ready to be ridiculed, do not get in the entertainment business, because a lot of times that's what happens. It leads to these drug overdoses. Like your self-esteem is because the shit I read about myself on the internet, I'm like, God damn, I ain't shit. And I remember, when Demi Lovato overdosed this week, it reminded me of Philip Seymour Hoffman. He overdosed a few years ago. I mean, talk about a guy that had everything. I mean, he's Oscar winner, got more money, knows what to do with, is a working actor, movie after movie after movie, still wasn't enough. And he was clean for years. And then what I had read was he had a glass of wine at like a movie premiere party. And that one glass of wine triggered all his addictive personalities in his brain. And he started using again off one glass of wine. And heroin's the worst. I mean, it's damn near impossible to get off that shit. But when you're talking about drugs and entertainment, it kind of goes hand in hand. I mean, I think, people automatically assume, since I'm in the entertainment business, I've done drugs. I've smoked weed a few times. And even then, it wasn't like I was looking for it. One, I was with Snoop, and it was like a rite of passage. The joint got passed to me. And then, I think one other time I might have took a hit of a joint at something. But I've never done cocaine, mushrooms, any kind of opioid, nothing. And I've had it offered to me. I've had cocaine offered to me. Jesus Christ. If I go a month, it's offered to me at least 4 times in a month. I'm always amazed when somebody does cocaine in front of me and then like they don't even like worry about me telling somebody. The cocaine and weed smokers are some of the most generous people I've ever met in my life when they want to share it. I had one guy, I was at a football game, and we took a limo to the game. This had to be 10 years ago. I was in Tampa, Florida. This guy just hops in the back of the limo, was a friend of a friend's, and then starts doing cocaine right in front of me, and then just looks up at the middle of the store and goes, "Oh, my fault, man. You want some?" Not my fault. I didn't know you were in the car. My fault. I don't know if you approve of this. My fault. He felt selfish that he was doing cocaine in front of me. I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. But, I think self-esteem has a lot to do with it. When people start using drugs, especially in the entertainment business, and that's why I think there's so many suicides also in entertainment. Because I keep going back to Boot Gang. To me, with everything he's doing, he's crying out for help. He's just saying, dude, I'm lost right now. And the drugs, they take away all that insecurity, pain, everything you're going through, it takes it away. Because I remember my brother who died of a heroin overdose, he said, I said, "Hey, man, Dow, are you chasing the high?" Because what I've heard is the first time you do like heroin, it's just such a high, and you keep chasing that again. And that's why you keep using. And my brother went, "Oh, no, it's good every time." The way he said it, he was like, "Oh, no, it's good every time." It was almost like, whoa, what the fuck? I mean, I can't even tell you the way his voice changed and his demeanor, his face just changed when he was like, "Oh, nah, man, it's good every time." I was like, it has to be. Why do people keep using heroin? If you see what it can do to you, you see these videos of people just slumped over their cars, out in the streets, just laid out. What would make you do that? And I think 2 things. One, it takes away from all your problems, all your issues, all your unhappiness. And I don't know where it takes you as far as your brain goes, what kind of state it puts you in, but it has to be a motherfucker if you're going to keep doing it. And I think boredom, I think when a lot of the white kids in the when they start using it, now it's a nationwide epidemic. The heroin's been in the black community for years, and it was an epidemic. And I think people just looked at it was a ghetto problem. It wasn't a American problem. It was just that's the ghetto. I ain't worried about that. Now that heroin is like suburb white person problem, now it's an epidemic. And I think a lot of the white kids that do it in small towns are just bored. Like they don't see a bigger picture. When you're in a small town in like Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Kentucky, Indiana, that's your whole world. You don't ever leave that town, and you just stay there. And I think a lot of them guys and girls, they get bored and they just like, let's try it. We ain't doing nothing else. And then next thing you know, they're hooked and they're addicted. And I know I'm rambling. I'm kind of all over the place. It's just because I get on a tangent when it comes to heroin, just because it's so close to home with me. And when I saw Demi Lovato overdose, I just went, fuck. I just like, here's a chick who's a successful singer, and she's had problems in the past, but I thought she had gotten past it and beaten it because she was singing about it and she would talk about it and write about it. And usually I think that's a healthy thing to do when you have that experience. Just like when guys go into rehab and they get out, they get a sponsor. And a good sponsor is one that's an ex-addict because they know what you're going through. And it gives you someone to talk to, and it's an outlet. And I think when you're a singer, when you talk about it and write about your problems, it's therapeutic. And the fact that Demi Lovato was talking about it and singing about it, I thought, okay, she's on the right track. And then, boom, comes out this week, she overdosed. I don't know. Clearly, whatever's going on in her life is not fulfilling her, that she feels she's good enough by herself, that she doesn't need anything. And god dang, I don't know what boot gang's on. I have no idea. I have no idea. It could be meth, heroin, cocaine, weed. I think he's got a mix of stuff. Syrup. I think he's got a mix. A lot going on in his system. And I think a lot of people go to drugs because of depression. I mean, it reminded me of not drugs, but talking about celebrity suicides. Because basically, when you're shooting up heroin, it's Russian roulette. You kind of you might commit suicide every time you put a needle in your arm. I remember God, I don't know his name, and this probably went under the radar to a lot of people that didn't notice this. There was a guy that was in 8 Mile, and he was in the Antoine Fisher Story. In the Antoine Fisher Story, this guy played Antoine Fisher's best friend from Cleveland when he was a kid. And then in 8 Mile, he was one of Eminem's guys. He wasn't the white guy. He wasn't the big black guy. He was the other guy. Had kind of a long face. He's from Dayton, Ohio. And I remember he was on a show called The It Factor in like 2000. And they were following him because they thought he had it. They followed like 8 actors and actresses who they thought had it. And it was like on Bravo when Bravo didn't have any viewers. And he was on it because he had 8 Mile coming out. And then I saw he was from Dayton. And I was rooting for this guy. And then he had a Sprite commercial. And then he didn't have anything for a couple years. They found him hung in an abandoned building, killed himself. And all his friends said he was dealing with depression because he got all this work at once. He got 2 hit movies back to back. And then, slow for a second. Then he got a major Sprite commercial, which is big money. You get a campaign like that. And then nothing. And they just found him. Like, this was like, God, way over 10 years ago. They just found him, and they didn't know where he was for like 3 days. He was missing. And then they found him in an abandoned building, and he hung himself dealing with depression. And, he probably didn't turn to drugs. He probably just went, that's it. And that's what I'm saying. This entertainment business is a motherfucker, man. I mean, I'm glad I'm a stand-up because I was thinking, damn, if I was just in Hollywood and trying to make it just as an actor, even a comedic actor, that'd be tough, man. Because you get told no here's the thing about Hollywood. You never get told no. You don't get told shit. You do an audition. They never call you and tell you why you didn't get the part. They never call and say no. They just don't call. So you might do the best audition of your life thinking, man, I crushed that shit, and never hear nothing. You have no idea what's going on behind the scenes of why you did or did not get it. It's just, that's why I say in entertainment, they always say, you get told no a lot. I go, no, you don't. You never get told no. You only get told yes. And when the yes comes, it erases all those no's. But yeah, that guy, God damn, I wish I should have, I'm going to pull up his name real quick. Yeah, I just remember I was so shocked by it because I was following him from afar on everything because he was a hometown guy. He was Dayton. Anytime I see Cincinnati, Dayton, even Northern Kentucky, I always pull for those people, man. Those are hometown guys. Josh Hutcherson, of the Hunger Games, George Clooney, all those guys. 8 Mile, 2002. I'm going to pull it up right now. The guy's name was D'Angelo Wilson. D'Angelo Wilson, Dayton, Ohio. He passed away, November 26, 2008, 29 years old. Damn. 10 years ago. Damn, he died on my son's birthday. That's crazy. Born in Dayton, Ohio, best known for 8 Mile, Antoine Fisher. Both came out in 2002. And then he did The Salon in 2005. Had a few episodes of CSI New York. And then The It Factor. Okay, The It Factor came out in 2003. And I used to watch this show every week in season 1. And they were right. They picked some good look at this. Jeremy Renner was on it. I remember Jeremy Renner. And they were following him because he had this Dahmer movie coming out. And they followed Lisa Ray because she had the Players Club, but then she hadn't done anything major since the Players Club. She had some small parts, but nothing major. God, all these other people that they have, I haven't heard of. Crystal Harris, what was she? She was, oh yeah, I remember her from Indiana. Yeah, she hadn't really done anything. But I remember Jeremy Renner was on the show, The It Factor. Lisa Ray and D'Angelo were the three that I followed. Jeremy Renner just had something about him. I just remember that when they were following him, he lived in an apartment with his dog, and his power was cut off, and he was like, he was like lighting candles, and he had this Dahmer movie getting ready to come out, and he looked just like Jeffrey Dahmer, and it was a little independent movie that didn't do anything at the box office, but it was critically acclaimed. And that's what got him working. That's what really got him going. Yeah, D'Angelo Wilson. That's crazy. 2000. I knew my dates were right. So, just think about this guy. He comes to Hollywood. I bet you, and I don't know, I bet you he got Antoine Fisher in Cleveland. Because that looked like one of them local hire type jobs. Because the part wasn't too big. And they were probably just casting people out of Cleveland, Columbus, Dayton area to come and do, because they do that sometimes with, a lot of times in movies, they have a lot of local hires for the smaller parts. And I bet you that's what did it. And then, hell, 8 Mile was a Detroit movie. He might have got both movies out here, out in Ohio. Or he might have been in LA. But I just remember that one stung me a little bit because I noticed him, and he's in 2 great movies that I really liked. Antoine Fisher and 8 Mile. Jeez. Antoine Fisher, that hit home for me so much just because of I was ex-Navy. Home life wasn't the best. I was like, God. And then I remember reading a story about, I told you, my podcast, I'd be rambling. I read a story of how Derek Luke, who got the part as Antoine Fisher, I heard he was a gate guard, like security on one of the lots. And then Antoine Fisher, the Antoine Fisher that wrote it, said, yo, I'm going to bring you in for an audition, man. Cause he got to know Derek just being a security guy on the lot. And Derek told me he was, actor. So he got him the audition, and he auditioned for Denzel Washington, who was the director and also in the movie. So, and I guess Derek went in and never said that he knew Antoine. He never said anything about that. He just went and auditioned, got called back, auditioned again. And then I heard Denzel was so impressed that he didn't try to use any nepotism or favoritism to get the part. Like, hey man, Antoine got me this audition, and I know Antoine. He just came in, did his thing, and then he was back working the guard. He was at the guard shack or on the, waving cars on the lot, and Denzel pulled up with Antoine, and he said, "Hey man," or I think it might have been just Antoine by himself, because how they audition go, "Went good, man. I think it went really good, man. Yeah." And Antoine goes, "Did you hear anything?" He goes, "No, I haven't." And I think Denzel came out, and I don't know if he's in Antoine's car or came up behind him, and they surprised him, and they said he got the part, and they said he just started bawling, just started crying right there. Because if you get the lead in a movie and Denzel's a director, and when I think a lot of times there's scripts out there that Hollywood knows, whoa, this is a good script, and whoever gets this part is going to be working. You're working the gate, you're a freaking security guard, then you get a major motion picture and Denzel's a director, and it's a buzz about all through Hollywood. I'm like, dude, I mean, how do you not cry? You're like, dude, not that I made it and it's over with, but oh my God, I'm gonna start getting offers for movies now and other roles. I'm not gonna have to do the open casting call auditions, because man, you can get lost in the shuffle and that stuff. And ever since then, Derek Luke's been working. Antoine Fisher, that movie is the sole reason me and my wife moved back to Ohio, and back in like 2004, because we had 2 kids, both in diapers. Or we got my oldest son Emilio, but we had our 2 kids. They were both in diapers, and we had no help, and we didn't have friends that you could just babysit and come over like that. And I went and saw the movie, the Antoine Fisher Story. I came back to my wife, "You gotta go see this movie. It's pretty good." My wife left to go see it and came back, and then we got to discuss it afterwards. So I went and saw a movie without your kid. I come home. Now my wife's got both kids. I said, "Gotta go see this movie." So now I'm watching both kids at the house. She goes to see Antoine Fisher. Then she comes back, and then we talked about it, and I went, "What the fuck are we doing? We can't even go see a movie together." And we got kicked out of one. We tried to sneak our... She was pregnant with our daughter Kennedy, and then Austin was just born, so she was holding him, but he was kind of tiny. We tried to sneak him in a movie theater one time to go see Barbershop. And I remember she was like holding him real close, and like my daughter was in her stomach, so it was kind of sticking out. And we paid to see the movie, and the girl got greedy, went to the popcorn stand and the concessions to get some food. And they go, is that a baby? Oh, there's no babies in the movie theater. And I was like, ah. And the thing about it was, I get it. I got the rule. We weren't mad, but our kids never cried, so that we knew they weren't going to cry. I mean, she always told me her oldest Emilio, I wasn't around when Emilio was a baby. He never cried. Our son Austin never cried. And then when our daughter came out, she never cried. Our daughter cried for 4 hours straight after she was born, and then never cried again. And same with my son. We didn't have babies that cried. It just didn't. I mean, obviously when they was hungry and shit like that, but they rarely just started crying for no reason. They were so easy at night, everything. They liked going to sleep. Dude, my daughter used to love to go to sleep. Like, time for bed, let's go. All she wanted was a sippy cup and a blanket. My sippy cup, my blanket, go right to sleep. Never seen nothing like it. Like, it was like we was going to an amusement park. Come on, okay, time for bed. Okay. She would get out of the bathtub, got a little, the onesie zip up that you put on a kid. I wish those things would never go out of style. I wish you could wear them as an adult, because your feet go in it. It's one zipper that goes up your leg all the way up your stomach and goes right here. And then you're just engulfed in this one piece of cloth and your hands come out. Yeah. So I know this podcast is all over the place. It happens like that, but I get sidetracked, and my ADHD kicks in when I start seeing people going down the wrong path, because it always reminds me of my brother. Always, every time I see it, I lived through that with my brother, not to the extent what Boot Gang's doing, but but Demi Lovato, and I just, it takes me to a place where I'm like, it's when you're not on the stuff, when you're not on heroin or meth or any of that shit, when you're thinking with a clear mind, it's just, it's not easy, but it's so clear how to get off of the stuff if you do these things. And, I always say the only thing I can relate it to is I have a sweet tooth. And even though I'll be working out and eating right and stuff, every now and then I'll sneak a piece of cake or I'll sneak a Reese cup. And I'll be like, nobody saw it, so I didn't do it. And that's the only thing I can relate it to as far as like heroin addicts and meth addicts is, they're like, yeah, I'm clean, I'm good. And you know what? I'm just going to do this one hit. I'm just going to do this one more time and then I'm done. And you see these TV shows and everything. Somebody's going to go into rehab and they're like, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to get high one last time and then I'll be ready to go into rehab. And it never works out like that. And that's the only thing I can relate it to is my sweet tooth with that stuff. So, all right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. This is another episode of the Gary Owen Get Some podcast. If you want to listen to my podcast, just go to iTunes, search Gary Owen, hashtag Get Some. Hey, y'all, you listen to the Gary Owen podcast, hashtag Get Some. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. You can listen to this on iTunes. Just search Gary Owen, hashtag Get Some. Or you can watch it on my YouTube page, youtube.com/Gary Owen.com. I always say it, who's ever got Gary Owen is not coming off that. So I got my page is Gary Owen com, C-O-M at the end. Recording this, as always, at Timeless Recording Studios. You want to follow them on social media. It's at Timeless R Studio, Cincinnati, Ohio. I think I'm the only one that does the podcast in this. This is really, really a spot where musicians and rappers, if you can see the other side of this camera, it's a real studio here in Cincinnati. It's a real deal with security and the big studio doors. Like I gotta get buzzed in. So it's kind of dope. I'm just glad there's no Suge Knights in this area because it'd be kind of scary. Can you imagine getting like fucked up and you're doing a podcast? It'd be the worst. It'd be like the ultimate L. This weekend I'm in Tacoma, Washington at the Tacoma Comedy Club, August 9th to the 12th. And it's crazy because there's a comedy club in Seattle. Well, Bellevue is like a nice suburb of Seattle. And then Tacoma, I never knew this. Tacoma is supposedly the hood in Seattle. Like they be wilding in Tacoma. And it's very much like you got Dallas and Fort Worth. And they when you fly into Seattle, it's called the SeaTac Airport, Seattle, Tacoma. I never knew there was two cities like that. I never knew. It's like San Francisco and Oakland. They're right next to each other, but completely different. Like I've been to Seattle, I've been to Tacoma, completely different cities. They might well be on the other side of Earth, just like Seattle and Oakland really have nothing in common. I think the big news this week was LeBron opening up the I Promise School. Now I'm just gonna read what this school entails. It's one thing to have open up a school. But this school, free tuition, free uniforms, free bicycle and helmet, because LeBron said when he was growing up, he could always get on his bike. And when he was riding his bike, it just took his mind to a different place. He wasn't broke. He wasn't, there wasn't the chaos and the drama and the poverty and the plight of Akron. He said when he's on his bike, it was just, everything was okay. So he wanted all the kids to have a bike. And I'm sure LeBron didn't have a helmet. There's no way back then. Free transportation within 2 miles of the school. Free breakfast, lunch, and snacks. Food pantry for the families. GEDs and job placement services for parents. That to me is huge. And guaranteed tuition to the University of Akron for every student who graduates. So I heard this was 10 years in the making. This didn't just happen overnight. To me, the things that stand out that tells you all the thought that went into this school is the food pantry for families. Because listen, I gave a kid a scholarship last year. And when I saw what LeBron did with the school, now what I did was on a much lower scale. But I wanted to give a scholarship to a kid that didn't have a 4.0, wasn't a great athlete, because it seems like those are the kids that get the scholarships. But I was always under the mindset of, what if a kid's got like a 2.5 GPA, has an average ACT score, but the circumstances of him going home and not eating and not having a structured home life, I wonder what would happen to a kid like that if he didn't have to worry about where he was going to eat or how he's going to pay for tuition and school loans and all that stuff. So I remember last year I gave this kid a full ride to Capital University, and he's going into his sophomore year now. And his story blew me away. I'm going to get back to LeBron's, but this kid's story, his name is Jesse Bailey. He went to the high school I went to, Talawanda High School in Oxford, Ohio. And man, like his story is unbelievable. Like, parents wasn't really around, mom on and off of drugs. At one point he was living in a tent in the woods because that's where his dad was living. And then he was staying with his grandfather in the trailer park. And what's crazy, same trailer park I grew up in, his grandpa had a trailer in, and no bed, no blankets. He was sleeping on the floor. And then at one point, I was told by the staff at my alma mater, they was like he was Googling mushrooms because he didn't have anything to eat when he went home, and he saw mushrooms growing in the woods behind the trailer park. So he was Googling mushrooms that were edible so he could figure out what he could eat when he got home. And this is sort of the story. It's almost like a Blind Side story without the athletic ability, because he started talking to this girl, and then he would go over to this girl's house, and then the girl told her mom, like, Jesse doesn't have a lot. So they start giving him money so he could eat lunch. He didn't have no lunch. Like he was going to school and just sit around and not eat. And then he's going home and not eating. And then what happened was they went to his trailer one day to drop him off, and they saw what his living conditions. And then Jesse started to hang out at this lady's house, who what started out as him talking to her daughter, then him and the daughter just became friends. They're not dating. And this is like sophomore, junior high school. So the lady was a cafeteria worker at the high school. And then Jesse would go over there and he'd stay a couple hours. Then he started staying all night. Then he started staying for weeks. And the story I heard was he was over there for like 2 weeks, just hanging out the house, coming back every day after school. And then they was like, were your parents and grandparents? Nobody's calling for him. He was going to school and doing his work, but he was just hanging out over there. And then they took him to the trailer where his grandpa was living, and the grandpa was sitting on the front porch and like waved at him like Jesse's been there. Like he ain't seen his grandson in 2 weeks. And then he shows up and he's kind of waved like not a big deal. And so Jesse went and grabbed his few belongings, and then the lady, her name was Shelly Pollock. She ended up becoming his legal guardian when it was all said and done. So when I heard his story, I was like, oh, so I wanted to do something for my alma mater. So I gave him a full ride to Capital University in Columbus. And it reminded me when I saw what LeBron did with the food pantry for families and their free breakfast, lunch, and snacks. That's huge for some kids. I mean, that's how much thought went into this school, because most people just want, we opened up a school, but there's so much. He's like what LeBron did, changing the complete direction and breaking the so-called broken home chain, that because I think a lot of times we repeat what we see as a kid. So whatever you see, 9 times out of 10, you might repeat that cycle growing up because that's all you know. So now LeBron is, giving jobs to the parents. Oh my God. And then if the parents don't have an education, they're going to have GED programs. And then to get the University of Akron to sign on and say, yeah, we're going to accept these kids to our university. Oh my God. It's just unbelievable. Like if you're at that school, and you don't take advantage of all that's offered to you. And that's the thing too. A lot of the kids, I'm glad the school's starting at kindergarten, because once you get to like 9th and 10th, some of those kids, it's hard to reach at that point, because that they don't know. They don't know like the advantages they have by going to a school like that. It's almost like when you're, we used to do things backwards when I was in school growing up. You didn't start taking Spanish till 9th grade. By then, I mean, it's almost like picking up a second language. You know how you ever see kids that speak like Spanish and English because their parents are Mexican or Puerto Rican? I saw it more in California than Ohio, but you'll see kids whose parents used to come get them from school and parents speaking nothing but Spanish. Kids speaking Spanish, but in school they're speaking English. That's because they grew up learning both languages as a kid. And it's ninth grade, man. Your brain's already the back of the brain was that cerebral cortex. It's already closing, starts closing at like 13, 14. So your brain isn't open. It's hard to learn a second language. So we always did it backwards when I was growing up because we would start learning Spanish in ninth. We should have started learning Spanish in kindergarten. And then you'd have all these bilingual kids. I took Spanish 3 years in high school. I can count to 10 and I know colors. That's it. Azul, rojo, verde, blanco, negro. That's it. All right. Uno, dos, tres, cuatros, ocho, cinco. I can count to 10 basically, and I know colors. And I don't know why. Iglesias is church, and I know what is it? Trabate y cabrón. Callate y trabajar cabrón. And the only reason I know that's to shut up and work, fool, is I was on stage one time when I first started doing stand-up, and I was doing a Mexican room in San Diego, and I was the only white dude on the show, and it was a Latino night, and I was getting heckled, and I didn't know how to come back, so I asked somebody, give me something to say to that dude, and somebody said, what'd he say? Cállate y trabajar, cabrón. And I never forgot it. For whatever, I said, what does it mean? Shut up and work, fool. I don't know how that was a put down, but I just remember they told me that was my Spanish moment. And I really don't know if that's what it really says. So my Spanish speaking listeners, maybe they could tell me. Cállate y trabajar, cabrón. I hope I didn't say anything bad that's going to get people offended. But I want to be with LeBron's I Promise School. He's not the first athlete to do something like this. I mean, he got the most press, but Jalen Rose has the Jalen Rose Academy. Alonzo Mourning has a high school named after him in Miami. And it's like his high school. Like, he did so much for the community. And oh my God, I remember back in the day, I used to always do Zoe's Summer Groove. Man, that was like the best weekend when Alonzo was on the Heat. And this is before LeBron got there. This is like, first time I did Zoe's Summer Groove was in 2006, right after they won the NBA title. Oh, it was so lit. We did it at American Airlines Arena. I remember Cat Williams was on the show. Steve Harvey hosted. I was on it. And then I remember I started doing it every year after that. Every year I do Zoe's Summer Groove for about 5 years straight. And then Dwayne got attached. So then it was Zoe and D-Wade's Summer Groove. And then Alonzo retired. And then Dwayne, he has just so much else going on. It just kind of went away. Now Zoe does the Winter Groove. But it's not the same, man. God dang, that Summer Groove back in the day? Whoo! I remember one time I was doing the Summer Groove and I was bagging on Kenyon Martin and I didn't know he was in the audience. And I started talking about how he was always stuttering. He always had a twitch. He'd talk like this and he twitched and stuttered. And then I was making fun of him because he cussed out Mark Cuban. And I said, man, as soon as he started cussing somebody out, his twitch and his stutter went away. And I started acting like how he cussed out Mark Cuban for the Mavericks. And all of a sudden, Kenyon stood up and I didn't know he was there. And I go, oh shit, you're here? Like I literally turned to a little kid because I didn't know he was there. And it was one of those things you had to be there to appreciate it. But me and Kenyon got cool after that. But yeah, I know Magic's done a lot for the community. And now the thing is, has LeBron passed Jordan as far as like the greatest off the court? I think off the court, without question, LeBron's been doing things for the community and speaking out where Jordan never really did. But I remember I had a TV show with Shaq called Upload. It was on True TV. We only went one season. I'm not gonna lie, I got fired from the show. It was 2 seasons and they let me go because why I got fired from the show was me and Shaq had a TV show called Upload. When it first started, it was just me and Shaq. And then we did the pilot and they brought in another comedian that was on the pilot. And then they thought Shaq opened up with two people talking to instead of just one-on-one, me and him. And basically it was like America's Funniest Home Videos. We just saw goofy videos and we commented on them. And then we do little sketches and stuff. And me and the other comedian just didn't click. I'm not going to say his name or throw him under the bus because I was just as much as fault as he was. So our personalities just did not click. And it was so tense on set. I got nothing bad to say about the dude. He's a good guy. If you want to look up Upload season 2, you'll see who it is. Cause then they said, Gary, we're gonna go in a different direction. And I was like, I've never been so happy to be fired from a show. Like, cause I didn't look forward to going to work. Cause I was like, it's just our personalities just did not click. I remember the season 1 of Upload, we always would have a guest comic. And I remember we had Tiffany Haddish was a guest comic and nobody knew who she was. We had Ali Wong, who's killing it right now, a little Asian comic. Nobody knew who she was. And I remember Shaq telling me a story about Starbucks came to him first to invest in Starbucks. And I remember Shaq's exact words was, man, black people ain't drinking coffee like that. But he didn't say black people. But he said the N-word, but I ain't gonna say it. But he was like, black people ain't drinking coffee like that. Cause they wanted him to open up Starbucks like in black communities, black neighborhoods. And not necessarily the hood, but black neighborhoods. Like Magic has I think his first Starbucks was by LAX. And there's the Magic Johnson TGI Fridays. And then there's the Magic Johnson Starbucks right next to it. And then they went to and then they went to Magic and the rest is history. And I've heard Magic's made just as much money off Starbucks as he did making money when he was playing for the Lakers. But Shaq was like, man, that's one of my biggest regrets is not opening up that Starbucks. And Shaq's doing all right now. Like I remember when I was with him, there was he had a 24-hour fitness he owned. I want to say a Target. Like the dude's got his hands in so much. Shaq, those Buick commercials. Shaq ain't ever drove a Buick, by the way, ever. But he's got. I remember we were shooting the TV show, and if you look it up on YouTube, there's a video of it. But I was working out and I couldn't work out for like a week because we were filming so much. Then we got off early one day and I said, man, I want to work out. And Shaq goes, go work out on my 24-hour fitness. And I was like, what am I going to do? Just walk in and say, Shaq sent me? He goes, yeah. So I go in, I told the dude, Shaq sent me. And the dude was like, yeah, right. Heard that before. And then I had to go back to Shaq's house. And I said, Shaq, man, I went there and the dude didn't let me in. So we did a video where I had Shaq on my phone and I was like, hey, the guy that said I couldn't go in there and work out because you said, yeah, right. And Shaq came behind me in the video and he was like, he good. Let him in. Let him work out. He's fine. And then I came back to 24 Fitness and I held my phone up to the dude and dude was like, can't argue with that. And he let me work out. But it was almost like a Pretty Woman moment when Julia Roberts went into the store on Rodeo and they didn't want to serve her because she looked like a hooker. And then Richard Gere gave her the credit card and the money. And then she came back to the boutique store that didn't want to let her shop. And she goes, big mistake. Huge. It was like my Pretty Woman moment for that. Other news is Ohio State had oh, you know what? Before I get into that, I want to ask you guys a question. Talking about LeBron and everything. I don't want to get sidetracked. Before I get into Ohio State and Urban Meyer and this domestic violence thing, back when we filmed Think Like a Man, the second one, we were in Vegas, and I had a chance to go to Game 7 of the NBA Finals because the Heat won it that year. They beat the Spurs, and Gabrielle, of course, is married to Dwayne, but back then they were engaged. And they worked the shooting schedule out and twisted it around so Gab could fly back to Miami, go to Game 7, and then come back the next day. So they gave her like 2 days off to make sure she could make the game because it was Game 7. And I wasn't shooting that day, those 2 days either. So Gab said I could hop on. She chartered a private jet. I could get on the jet, go to Miami, and then I knew guys in the Heat that I could get a ticket to Game 7. And my wife wouldn't let me go because her reasoning was, you haven't been home. You got a son. So this is 2013. So my son was 13. So he was on, I guess he was on the 7th grade team then. And he was playing summer league basketball. She goes, if you can't make it to your son's basketball game, imagine how he's going to feel that you flew to Miami to go to game 7, but you didn't fly home to go to his game. And I went, fuck. And I'm trying to come up with a reason. I'm like, but it's a private jet. If I was going to fly from Vegas, I got to go commercial. And if you've never flown private, it's completely different. Like you pull up to the tarmac and you just get on the plane. There's no security. There's no waiting in line. There's no we're third on the runway to take off. There's no delayed flights. No, you show up, you get on the plane, and you leave. That's it. If you say, hey, we're gonna leave at 3:00, 2:55, you show up, and you get on a plane, you leave 3:00. So I'm chilling her. No, it's different. It's a private jet, and I ain't gonna lie. I want to go to Game 7, but I was also looking forward to flying on a private jet. I've flown on a private jet 3 times in my life, and there's nothing like it. Nothing like it. Like, just when I think I'm doing good in life, I follow too many people on Instagram that have private jets, and it brings me down a little bit because I be feeling like I'm doing something when I'm flying first. Nah. There's some people I should follow, like, less famous people with less money on Instagram, because I'd be like, God damn it. He chartered a jet for that shit. But I had a chance to go to Game 7, and I didn't go. I didn't go because I kind of saw my wife was saying, how would your son feel if she sees your dad? She said, think about your son. If he's watching Game 7, which he would be, and he sees me in the stands, and then I'm sitting there just rooting him on and everything, and then I didn't go to his game, and he had a game like that same day as Game 7. I went, like, I had to call Gab and be like, hey, Gab, I can't go. And my wife's not letting me. She goes, all right, then. But we're taking off. If things change, we got open seats on the plane. And I just remember watching it, and then the Heat won, and then everybody was partying in Miami. And I remember Terrence J got on the jet with Gab, so he went. So I'm looking at his social media, and they're at Live, and they're just partying. They got the freaking trophy with them, and I'm like, fuck, I really wanted to be there. And and now now here it is 5 years later. I'm asking you guys, when you watch this, and if you watch it on my YouTube page, you can really make the comments and I'll see them. Should I have gone and said, fuck it? Because still part of me goes, I should have said, fuck it, and apologized to my son, or got like a jersey and gave it to my son. I don't know. Oh, you guys tell me what I should have did. I know the dude's going to be like, you stupid ass, you should have went. And I wanted to let my nuts hang, in the words of Tekashi 6ix9ine, and be like, nah, motherfucker, I'm going. Fuck that. But that dad side of me kicked in. I go, yeah, I don't want here's the thing. I got disappointed a lot growing up from my dad. So I didn't want my son to be looking at me like, this motherfucker, man, he can't go to my games, but he going to go see a bunch of dudes that aren't related to him play. I said, but it was Game 7. I don't know. Does that make me a bad dad? I don't think it would have been. All the things I did in my life, if I went to Game 7 and didn't go to my son's game, I don't know, but leave a comment. Should I have gone? So this, let me just lay it out for you. Call my wife. I can go to Game 7. Gab chartered a private jet. I can ride with her. We're coming back the next day. Like, Gab literally, if the game was Saturday night, Gabrielle left Saturday morning. She was back Sunday evening into Vegas. So it was basically 2 days. It was a day. You only stayed all night. You only stayed in Miami one night. And so my argument to my wife was, it's a private jet. It's Game 7. I would go to my son's game if I had a private jet to fly back. That was what I was telling her. I go, dude, if I had a private jet, I would be at his games. I would fly in and fly back, and I would, no problem. But I'm not at that point. I'm like, I have to get online. Delta, American, United, Southwest, Virgin America. I got to see if I have flights that can get me to and from. Because, listen, in my defense, when we shot Think Like a Man 2, I was the only one that lived on the East Coast. So I couldn't go home like the other guys. Other guys, we'd wrap Friday, and most of the guys would just go to the Vegas airport and get on Southwest and book the next flight out, because Southwest has a flight like every hour from Vegas to LA. So as soon as we wrapped, I'm telling you, man, Ely, Romney, Ferreira, all those guys, TJ, Terrence, they'd all take off and just head to the airport And it was funny because I'm sure people was like, what the fuck are you doing on Southwest? But there was no like pre-planning. And then they come back Sunday night. So for me, I tried to do that one time. We got off Friday and I said, I'm going to come home. And here's what happened. We got off Friday. I caught the red eye back. I landed Saturday morning. When I got off the plane and I was going to fly back Sunday evening. So I just want to come home for a weekend. I got off the plane Saturday morning. So I took off from Vegas like at 11 p.m. It was a direct flight into Cincinnati. You lose 3 hours. So I landed in Cincy like at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. I got off the plane. I got a bunch of texts. I got a bunch of voicemails saying, Gary, call us. This is production, call us. I get off the plane Saturday morning. We need you in tomorrow morning. We're starting at like 6 a.m. We need you back. I heard you went home because we had to do this casino scene. And so here I am, get off the plane in Cincinnati. I call my wife. I'm like, she was there to pick me up at the airport. We basically went to breakfast. And then I went home and saw my kids, said what up. And then I was on a flight like 6 hours later back to Vegas because I had to be there Sunday morning to film. And I couldn't be mad at production. And the director, Tim Story, apologized. He goes, look, we got the casino. We got to shoot this scene. We can only do it tomorrow. So look, when they hire me, they paid me to be in Vegas the whole time. If I leave, that's on me to get back in case they call me into work. So I never tried to go home again like that. I never tried to like fly back to Cincy because I was like, damn, they could call me in and I might have to shoot a scene. But with the Game 7, I knew I was off those 2 days because Will Packer, the producer and everybody, he worked it out so people could go to Game 7 because we had too many people attached. You know, Lala was dating Carmelo and Gab and we had too many friends within the Heat organization back then. And so I don't know. I don't know. Looking back on it, I should have gone to Game 7. I told my wife, I go, if we had to do that all over again, I would have went. And you'd just been mad at me and I would have worked it out with my son years later and apologized. We would have just went to counseling. But that's why I never went home during the whole shoot of Think Like a Man 2 because the one time I tried, and let me tell you what the scene was. If you've seen the movie, it's the scene where I'm at the slot machines with the old ladies and I high five them and all the guys are doing their own thing. But that was the only time they could get those three old ladies. And it was the only time we was at Planet Hollywood. We could get those slot machines allotted because you got to cut off a certain segment of the casino when you're shooting and people can't go through it. So it's best to do it early in the morning or really late at night. When I say late at night, I'm talking like 3 a.m. on a weekday. So we had to shoot that scene at like 7 a.m. on a Sunday because the casino wasn't crowded. It wasn't jumping. The casino wasn't going to hold a Friday or Saturday night. Like, I bet you 90% of the movie and the casino scenes and Think Like a Man, 2, we shot, I remember the first day on set, it was like a 2:30 call time. And then everybody got in makeup and we were shooting at like 3:30 in the morning in Planet Hollywood. And it was hysterical. So our first shoot day for Think Like a Man 2 was when everybody, remember, if you guys seen the movie, it was where we just got done with Floyd Mayweather and we were coming down the escalator and then and Kevin was like, you know, I want to, that's when he supposedly won at the roulette table. He's telling the guys, we got to win some money, man. We in Vegas. Da, da, da. And I'm like, no, I want to stand on my own 2 feet. I got to make a stand. And we shot that scene at 4 a.m, like 4 to 6. We got that scene done. And I remember right when we started shooting, this drunk dude just walked into the scene. Like first out the bat, we just get to Vegas. I go, there's no way. We didn't know if he was in the scene or not. Cause we did the rehearsal and then I thought, oh, they added a drunk dude to the scene. No, this drunk motherfucker really walked in the middle of the scene. Hey, what's going on? Like, and we were all looking like, is he an extra? What is it? And then he really was just a drunk dude that wandered in to us shooting the scene. But that was, I mean, it's just funny because, you know, I'll never forget every time I see Think Like a Man 2, I'll be looking at it like, I remember that. Because here's the thing, when you shoot a movie, like that, when you're watching it, just for me, I'm never like watching a movie like looking at it like, like a fan, like, oh, this is a good movie. When I'm watching it, I'm looking at, oh, I remember that day. I remember what happened behind the scenes that day. So when we're coming down the escalator after I get beat up by Floyd and his bodyguards, that was the first day of shooting. Like when the Floyd and the bodyguard scene, we shot that like a week later. Cause I remember we were trying to put it together because like, okay, I just got my ass kicked. And when we come down the escalator, I wasn't acting like I got my ass kicked. And then we had to look up, like later on, we'd be like, oh, bro, we should have shot the Floyd shit first. Cause then I would have acted all flustered. Cause I'm coming down the escalator like it's no problem. But in the movie, I just got choked out by Floyd's bodyguards. Now I'm just coming down the escalator like it's nothing. But it's funny, you shoot things out of sequence. And then when I watch the movie, this is what I do. I'm like, oh, okay. That was the first day of shooting. And that was the day the dude walked in the middle of the scene. And then every time I see that, the old ladies and me high-fiving them at the slot machines, I was like, that was a scene where I flew all the way back to Cincinnati, landed at 6 a.m. and was on like a 4 p.m. flight back to Vegas. I literally got off. And I used to do a joke about it on stage where I said, I got off the plane, got 4 pumps in with my wife. I didn't have time to fuck her real good. And then I got back on the plane. I got 4 pumps in. Boom, boom, boom. Still around, baby. Yeah, puss good. And they got back on the plane and headed back to Vegas. That's what I think about when I see that scene. You know, like the Floyd scene. I remember when we shot it with Floyd. God, we did like 5 takes. And I got beat up every which way. And I remember I was sore the next day because his bodyguards are fucking huge and they manhandled me. Like one scene I got choked out. One I got in an arm bar. One I got lifted up. Like I was beat up. Like I really felt like a WWE wrestler after that day. And I'm a big dude, but they fucked me up shooting that movie. So this is the good thing about my podcast. How the hell did I go from LeBron opening up a school to Jalen Rose, Alonzo Mourning to Game 7 to now I was talking about getting my ass kicked for the last 5 minutes and Think Like a Man too. I should change my my podcast name to Fuck It because that's really where I'm at. Because sometimes I catch myself, like my ADHD kicks in. I talk to myself a lot. Like I called it Get Some, but I should really call it Fuck It because I just realized my ramble right now had nothing to do with where I started. I started out with LeBron's I Promise School, and I got to the point where I got beat up by Floyd's bodyguards, and this dude walked into the middle of a scene of Think Like a Man 2. All right, so enough on LeBron and the I Promise School. And LeBron's quickly becoming the Muhammad Ali of basketball with his philanthropy work. I know I didn't say that right. Philanthropy. With all the shit he does for everybody. LeBron's quickly becoming Ali of basketball. Because, Ali, great boxer, one of the greatest ever, but it was everything he did outside the ring. And it's the same with LeBron. I remember when Trayvon Martin, the shooting, LeBron and Dwayne was the main guys, like they had their hoodies up. Speaking of that, if you haven't seen that on, I think it's on ESPN, or no, is it ESPN? I think it's ESPN. No, I don't know if it's ESPN or the Showtime or HBO. Fuck. One they're doing the Trayvon Martin. They said God, what's it called? Fuck. Anyways, just find it. You know what? I'm gonna look it up. I think is it on Showtime or HBO? I'm gonna Google. I watched the first episode. That shit is good. Trayvon Martin story. It's on, hold on guys. Rest in Power. Trayvon Martin story. Oh, BET. I'm sorry. BET's airing it. Yeah, Rest in Power, the Trayvon Martin story. God, make sure you watch that. Go to On Demand, and it's eye-opening. It's behind the scenes because I remember when that Trayvon Martin story first broke. It was funny how the media will twist things because they kept showing images of him with the gold teeth or like just trying to act hard. But I was just like, that's just being a teenager, and you don't know what his post was. There could have been a caption to it like him goofing off. And to this day, that case more than any of the others, if you don't know George Zimmerman was completely at fault, come on now. The way he's reacted and the way Trayvon Martin's parents have carried themselves, that lets me know everything I need to know about that case. Because the way they've conducted themselves, I really think I think that gives you an insight into what Trayvon Martin was like, and the way George Zimmerman has conducted himself since the trial. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about that. But if you get a chance, go to BET, go to On Demand, and watch the first 2 episodes. Oh my God, it's just eye opening. It's eye opening. So yeah, if you're gonna watch anything, watch those 2 things. Now football season's in full swing right now. The preseason started, and I had a discussion with some strange dude on the street, basically, and he was like a Cleveland fan, and he was like, "Yo, G, we coming for you this year. We coming for you." And I'm just like, dude, why don't you focus on Pittsburgh? Why? That's the thing. Cleveland and Cincinnati, we should not be arguing with each other at all. If you a Cleveland Browns fan and you a Cincinnati Bengals fan, what the fuck we arguing for? We should both be ganging up on Pittsburgh. So every time a Cleveland fan comes to me, man, and I'm in Cleveland next week, August 16th to 19th, we need to worry about Pittsburgh. We got 2 teams that ain't been in the playoffs in years, and what the fuck we arguing for? And that's the thing. Cleveland's got some players now. I wanted Cincinnati to get them early when the schedule came out. I go, please let us get Cleveland early. We got them in the middle of the season. By then, they might have figured it out. And if that Josh Gordon comes back healthy, they got a video of him working out. And his Instagram is @Flash. And hold on, ADHD moment. I'd say if you're going to follow any people on Instagram, Will Smith and Arnold Schwarzenegger are 2 of my favorites. Like, Will Smith started late, but I don't know what camera crew he's got and what graphics. But I'm like, dude, I'm looking at my web guy like, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing? We're in the Stone Age here. Then I realize it's Will Smith. I try to temper it. And Arnold's is good just because it's Arnold. Just hearing him talk is funny. And he be digging on Trump, Schwarzenegger, on the low. It's so good. Like, him and Will's are 2 of my favorites. But Josh Gordon's Instagram is Flash. He just got @Flash. And, dude, he got a video. Let me see if I can find it. He got a video of him working out. It pisses you off. Like, a guy should not be built like that. Like, I just left the gym when I see him working out. This dude. If he comes back and his head's on straight, fuck you, man. And he's still only like 26. He's not old. Like 27, 28. He's definitely not 30. And that's the thing about quarterbacks. I was thinking, like, he was at Baylor when RG3 was there. And it's very similar to Johnny Manziel and Mike Evans. Like, Manziel had all the hype, but every time I would watch Texan A&M play, I go, that wide receiver's kind of good. And then Evans, he's balling in Tampa. And then same thing, RG3, really good at Baylor, but I remember watching him going, Josh Gordon's pretty fucking good, that wide receiver. And look what's happening now. Like, I was so happy to see RG3 back in the NFL playing for the Ravens because Lamar Jackson got all the hype. But RG3 did his thing. And I don't know if the Ravens can keep him because Flacco's going to be the starter at the beginning of the year. There's no doubt. Unless they start tanking, Flacco's playing for the Ravens. And why would you have RG3 there when you drafted Lamar Jackson? Basically, you're grooming him to take over and change the offense. So I think RG3, I hope he balls out and another team picks him up. Honestly, I wouldn't be upset if the Bengals went after him to back up Andy. Just change the pace. I don't want to see Andy Dalton get hurt. I want him to play and be healthy, but we ain't got no backups. I think Barkley's, I think he's proven he's kind of terrible. We're not going to go anywhere. If Andy gets hurt, the season's kind of over with our backups since he's got. So I wouldn't mind seeing like a veteran change of pace type dude. I don't think Cincinnati ever had a black quarterback that played. I'm thinking they had the one guy was a backup for a couple years, but he never played. Like 10 years ago, they had a backup, but they had Josh Johnson in camp, but I don't think he played. But I don't think Cincinnati ever had a starting black quarterback. The Bengals. I don't think they have. I'm thinking no. I don't think they've ever had a black quarterback. That would be kind of dope to have a mobile quarterback back there. If the I'm looking them up. It's crazy. Google, you can look up everything. I'm Googling Cincinnati Bengals black quarterback. And I'm gonna see what pops up. Black quarterback, Google search. And the fuck did I forget? Achilles Smith. Jesus Christ, I'm a dumb. And Jeff Blake. My fault. Bengals have had a ton of not good. We've had black quarterbacks, not good. Jeff was good. Achilles, but my dumb ass, and I'm a huge fan. That's great. Google, you can look up everything. You can look up everything on Google. Now Jeff Blake, yeah, he threw the rainbow bombs. I used to love watching him play. Yeah, Achilles Smith. Oh my God, how did I forget that? Talk about fucking up the entire direction of the team. Because remember the year Achilles Smith came out was the year Ricky Williams came out from Texas, and the Mike Ditka offered everything. He offered the Saints' entire draft for like 10 years to the Bengals so they could move up and grab Ricky Williams. And Mike Brown said, no, we're going to get Achilles Smith. What the fuck? Man, that changed the whole direction. That was almost like the Herschel Walker trade. Back in the day when the Cowboys traded Herschel Walker to Minnesota and got all those draft picks, which basically catapulted them to the Super Bowl and all them runs. It's the same thing. Same thing. God dang. Takes me back to a dark time. What I'm hearing about the Bengals right now, though, what I'm hearing is the wide receivers are going nuts. The young wide receivers, that Alden Tate's balling. John Ross is healthy balling. They cut Brandon LaFell. Joe Mix is doing well. Gio Bernard, we know he's going to do his thing. But what I hear is our whole season is predicated on the offensive line. The whole season. We got Glenn. I heard he's doing okay. Not doing great, doing okay. I heard Cedric Ogbuehi, who was our tackle last year that got Andy damn near killed. Not hearing good things about him either. So hopefully the offensive line steps up. Now, I've got completely sidetracked. But here's how I'll segue this. Ohio State, the Bengals drafted Billy Price. I heard he's doing okay. But Ohio State had the big scandal got broke this week. Urban Meyer and his assistant, back in 2015, the wide receivers coach, had domestic violence against his wife. And then, this guy goes on ESPN and does an interview, and it was disturbing the way he talked. I was just like, the way he was talking about his wife and how was it? Zach Smith's his name. Zach Smith was one of the coaches at Ohio State, and they got all these charges and accusations of domestic violence against his wife, and then come to find out Urban Meyer knew about him and kept him on the staff, and then Urban Meyer went to media day and acted like he didn't know nothing about it, really, and like he was in the dark, and come to find out he did know. So now Urban Meyer is suspended, and this Zach Smith with the interview with ESPN, and the way he talked was aggressive. I was like, and he said, yeah, I never hit my wife. It was all defense. If I touched her, it was defense. And like, she's got videos of her with cut hands and bruises on her body. He goes, no, it was all just me trying to get away. And I'm like, dude, but then he said, yeah, I used to push her buttons though. I knew how to push her buttons. And I'm like, dude, that interview didn't do you any justice. After I saw the interview, I was like, oh yeah, he did that shit. He did it. And I think his wife it was a volatile relationship. I think this Zach Smith, this coach at Ohio State, I think he knew how to push his wife's buttons to get her going. I think she knew how to push his buttons to get him mad. It's just a volatile relationship. But under any circumstances, you never hit a chick. Ever. You just got to walk away. I always say you don't even hit a dude. Walk away from dudes. I walk away from everybody. You can't. There's nothing you can say to me make me want to hit you. I just leave. I always think about tomorrow. Is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be? If I get in a fight with this, is it worth it? Do I want to be on World Star knocked out? I don't want to take that chance. I've had dudes try to test me a couple times. Like, I just leave. I had one guy Okay, this is a funny story. I was like 20 years old. I was at this bar, and I was in the military, and I came home to Cincinnati, and it was this bar called Cooters. Back in the day, it was on UC's campus called Cooters, and I leaned up against the rail. I was on the dance floor. I leaned up, and my back hit this guy's hand, and the guy, I said, "Oh, my fault." And the guy goes, "You call me a pussy?" And I went, "What?" And I go, "No." I said, "My fault." He goes, "Oh, I thought you called me a pussy." I said, "No, I didn't call you a pussy." He's like, "Oh, because I was going to say you called me a pussy. We're going to have some problems." He started going off. And I said, "Dude, I just told you I didn't call you a pussy. If I was going to call you a pussy, I'd call you a pussy." And I yelled, man. Keep in mind, I had a couple of drinks. Even though I was 20, I had a couple of beers in me. So the dude did like a Karate Kid on me. He had like his two boys on either side. He was like, "Johnny, Bobby, let's get him." So now the way the dance floor is set up, there's a rail. Like the dance floor is like this big wooden floor, but there's a big rail, like a bar that goes all around, and people can stand at the rail and put their drinks on this little bar. And so I'm in the dance floor. I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm about to get massacred." Keep in mind, I'm a tourist for going places by myself. I always like travel light, travel right. So I'm at this bar by myself, and this dude and his two cronies are coming for me. So I start literally running around the dance floor and jumping and hitting myself in the chest, go, "Yeah, I've been waiting for this shit. Motherfuckers always fucking me on," but I'm jumping. I'm jumping like a rabbit, like in a row. And all I'm doing is, where the fuck is security? Where the fuck is security to break this up? And right when the guys are about to get me, all the security came in and swooped in, and all the security guys had like referee shirts on, because it was like Cooters like a sports bar in Cincy. And the minute they came in and the chaos erupted, like the bounce breaking up, I slid out the back. And I was in my car on my knees, like getting in my car and opening. I'm looking to my right and left. And then I got in my car, and I remember I was sweating. I was like, "Woo, that was close." I remember I stopped at White Castle to eat on the way home, and then I went to my cousin's house and tell him, "Dude, I was gonna fight, but I got out of it, but I didn't get in a fight, but these dudes tried to jump me." And they're like, "Dude, stop, slow down." But I just remember the dude was like, "Hey man, you call me a pussy?" I was like, "Nah, man, I wasn't gonna call you a pussy, I'd call you a pussy." And I yelled. I was like, but this is a dude that just wanted to fight somebody. Like, for me to hit his hand and immediately apologize, and then he goes, "Oh, did you call me a pussy?" No. I said, "Excuse me, how do you get, hey, first of all, my back's to you. So you think I want to just hit your hand softly with the small of my back and then say, 'You're a pussy'? It doesn't make any sense. Dude was just trying to start a fight. But I got out of it. So I wonder what that dude's doing now in life. Who knows? That was like 20 years ago. Over that. So anyways, LeBron, great job opening up the I Promise School. And Jalen Rose and Alonzo Mourning, also two other guys that don't get enough credit for giving back to their communities. God dang. I mean, Jalen is tied at the hip to Detroit. Just like LeBron is with Akron, just like Alonzo is with Miami. And look, man, Cleveland fans out there, stop. If you see me on the street, you know I'm a Bengals fan, don't come at me sideways. Focus on Pittsburgh. We've got to come together, say fuck the Steelers, because they're really the big brother. We're like the little stepbrother that was adopted from a group home, missing limbs. That's what we are. We are disabled orphan kids right now, Cleveland and Cincinnati. So stop bagging on each other and let's come together. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Week 1, Cleveland's playing Pittsburgh. I'm rooting for Cleveland like they're the Bengals. Because last year they almost beat Pittsburgh week 1. I'll never forget it. But you just gotta, just like when Cincinnati plays Pittsburgh, you got a feeling something's gonna go wrong. You just gotta, even when they're up, you're like, I got a feeling something's gonna go left. So yeah. So listen, I'm in Tacoma this weekend at Tacoma Comedy Club. And next week I'm in Cleveland at the Improv. Oh, and while I'm at Cleveland Improv, I'm gonna be filming my sets all that weekend and sending them to Netflix. Netflix called me and they want to see my hour, which is farther than I've ever gotten with them. So if you want to see the hour that I'm going to put it out there in the universe, it's going to be my Netflix special. You want to be in Cleveland, August 16th to the 19th at the Improv. All right, y'all. This is Gary Owen with the Get Some Podcast. If you want to listen to my podcast, just go to iTunes, search Gary Owen, hashtag Get Some.